the 2020 hurricane season. Here are some of the numbers. First of all, what we're looking at. I'm still waiting for the NOAA hurricane forecast. So far, it hasn't come out. But as you can see here, you have the average of hurricanes, which is 12 storms that will form. That's the average. You got 6 hurricanes and about 2 major hurricanes in an average season. The record high activity is actually 28 storms, 15 hurricanes, and 7 major hurricanes. And I believe that was 2005. That's when that happened. And then the lowest on record is 4 storms, 2 hurricanes, and 0 major hurricanes. That is actually the lowest of any season since they have kept records. So you have some of the companies here, some of the forecasts that some people are calling for 15 storms, 7 hurricanes, 4 major hurricanes. Now this is back in December, so I have a pretty good idea. Pretty confident that this company is actually going to revise that forecast due to, since December, things have changed quite a bit. Now it's looking like we have more favorable conditions, so I'm expecting this number to go up. You have Colorado State University, which they usually shoot for lower numbers for whatever reason. They're trying to become more conservative. They're also saying it's going to be above average. And then you see some other ones, University of Arizona, the weather company, they're putting some higher numbers. Now, as far as some other weather here in the United States, we have some rain showers in South Dakota, some Midwest pretty much. If you look, this is a pretty good website. I highly recommend for everybody to look at it. It is tornadohq.com, and I like this website because it shows you the different warnings or any watches that are current. As you can see, there's actually none in the United States. A couple days ago, there were some tornado warnings, but that was a few days ago. And I like it because it keeps records of it. But this is a very good site. I highly recommend it for you guys to check it out, since it's gonna have some of the active warnings and everything. So check it out whenever you guys get a chance. Now let's also check out the NOAA prediction, severe weather prediction for today. If I click here, you guys can see that pretty much the Texas, Oklahoma area has actually some marginal chances of severe weather, and then some slight chances of severe weather here. So as you can see, nothing going on, nothing severe going on, just low chances of something happening. But that's good. That's good. We don't need any more actual bad weather or anything like that. Now that's for today. For today, so we're not gonna go into any for tomorrow. I'll probably do a video or talk about it. Post it actually on my Instagram account, which I highly recommend you guys check it out. It's BadWeatherFreak, so you can pull me up there. And what I do is I actually take the outlook, today's outlook, and I post it. I try to post it every day. It doesn't happen every single day, but I try to be consistent with that, so that way you guys are ready and prepared for those severe events. I try to do it first thing in the morning. I have for the past few days, but here and there I missed a couple days. Now we have the fire weather outlook, so let's take a look at that. Now the issue that we're having, so you see Florida here is actually highlighted, and it's because it has been fairly dry, believe it or not. Now May rolls around, and usually probably the end of May is usually when we have our rain season starting, but depending on the year, sometimes it extends. And it can extend all the way up to June. I mean, I think it was like 3 years ago. That's how it was. We didn't get any rain until like I think it was like mid-July, mid-June or something like that. But it usually is not the case. Normally in May, that's when we get our rain season starting. But right now there's an elevated fire weather outlook, and that's because, again, not a lot of rain. Now the worst part is western Texas and Arizona. Those are pretty much in critical, means that it's very, very dry, and that's a problem because it can actually spark, it can spark a fire in a blink of an eye. I mean, it doesn't need much. So if you guys keep an eye out there, if you guys are watching this video and you live in Arizona, if you're living in the west part of Mexico, I mean, not Mexico, Texas, but in the northern part of Mexico, that applies too. But as you can see in the map here, it cuts off, it cuts off. But keep an eye on that for that. Now let's check also, I wanted to show you guys the radar satellite imagery. So you can see this is the whole Atlantic and part of the Pacific. A lot of showers in the South Atlantic, but nothing in the main development region. Just a little bit of showers, but you can see how we're getting a lot of wind shear, and that's not good for tropical development. When you start seeing this, like you see all this quick wind just going this way, that's actually not good. That means that if a storm starts to form, it's gonna basically be the top of the storm it will be blown off. So that actually makes the storm weaker and not gain any strength. Let's go back. Let me see. Actually, let me show you another thing here. And this is the Saharan Dust layer. This is actually something that it also inhibits tropical formation. This has been getting worse in the past probably week. Before, you only had a little bit west of the coast of Africa. Now it's extending all the way to Haiti, Dominican Republic, and almost getting into Cuba. And this is, let me just play the animation so you can see how much Saharan dust we are having in the Atlantic. I think it was 2008, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, not 2008, 2018. We had a ton of Saharan dust. It was so bad that, I mean, literally made it all the way to Texas. That's how bad it was. But right now, again, we could get formation of storms, but it's something that is not prone to happen in May, but it has happened before. Like in the past few years has happened. But if it happens, the issue that the storms are going to have is they have to fight through this through all this dust, and they have a hard time trying to form. Another thing I want to mention is, if you guys have a minute also, check this website out, myfoxhurricane.com. This website is very, very cool. It has a lot of information, from weather forecasting computer models, the Saharan dust layer chart also. Another thing that I like about it is it has the temperatures also. So let me show you guys how is the Western Caribbean right now. As you can see, we need about, I think it's about 80 degrees, excuse me, about 80 degrees to sustain tropical formation. You can see that we have plenty of warm water. It's in the 80s, low 80s down here to high 80s or mid 80s. And this is very concerning because we are barely at the beginning of May. So my worry about this is that you're going to see those temperatures increase, obviously, as we get more closer to summer and towards the late summer months. As you can see in the Gulf also, the Gulf we have 70s and we have also 80s. So all this here is conducive to, and it's actually enough heat to sustain tropical development. So this is also concerning. Now, the Gulf, it will always pretty much will be warm enough. That's just a given. But the fact that it is still early and we have temperatures already past the 80-degree mark, it is concerning. It is something that we need to keep an eye out. If you go back, let me show you another thing here. The sea surface temperatures. One thing I've noticed is that cooler than average temperatures. I've seen a little bit of cool down in the past week. So you can see a little bit of blue showing up in the Gulf, but in the main development region, it has been showing up a little bit of blue also. And that's something that it could happen. I mean, it's not unusual, but it could happen. But I have a feeling it's not going to last long anyways. And I'm going to show you a different chart that will show you a little bit better. Another thing I want to mention about this website is, which is a very cool feature. If you go to the main page, it has a live hurricane chat. I personally am very active in this chat, as you can see here. BadWeatherFreak. I love this chat because, especially on hurricane season, this chat will blow up. I'm telling you, it's right now there's only one person in here, which is me basically. And that's pretty typical throughout the off season. The regulars will come in here and there, and they will actually talk for a little bit, but they disappear for sometimes months. But the regulars will show up every once in a while. But when there's a hurricane coming, this chat will get so packed. I mean, sometimes you get hundreds and hundreds of people. I think the highest I've seen it is probably like 1,000 to 2,000 people at once. And I believe that was with Hurricane Irma. So there's a very, very cool chat. You get a lot of regulars here that they put great information, a lot of tips on how to stay safe. So I highly recommend it. If you guys want to check it out, it is myfoxhurricane.com. And the main page, you will see the live hurricane chat. And also has a Twitter section from the same site, the developers of the site. They will also post stuff in there. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at, let me see. I wanted to look at the tropical tidbits and see if there's any pending development. I checked it earlier. There was nothing. But let me show you guys something, because something is gonna happen. It's a probability that is gonna happen, but in the Pacific. Now the GFS, let's play this animation here. Let's move it, speed it up a little bit so you can see some showers going on. System of high pressure up here, the Bermuda high, and then if you notice down here, you start showing up a hurricane. And this is one of the things you guys want to keep in mind. This, as you can see here, this is 96 hours, but the hurricane starts forming way out there, like 10 days out. One thing I have learned from years of tracking storms is anything past probably 3 days is not reliable. We saw it last year with Dorian, where, you know, Dorian was like all the way down near the Dominican Republic, and it showed that it was going to cut through the Dominican Republic and kind of like make a west curve and kind of come through central Florida, and we all see that it did not happen. So one thing to keep in mind is anything after 3 days, you want to discard it. You want to pay attention, because you want to be aware of what is a possibility that might happen, but don't take it with a grain of salt, you know, or take it with a grain of salt. Don't take it serious. And so you can see here, 10, 12 days out, there's a pretty strong hurricane in the Pacific. It could happen. You know, May 15th is the beginning, or the beginning pretty much of the start of the Pacific hurricane season. So it's very possible, because that will take us past that May 15th window. But as far as the Atlantic, not much going on. Just some shower here and there. Let's take a look at the European model. Same thing here. Go ahead and play it. European model, I like that model. It's one of the most accurate forecasting models. So you can see there's nothing. And if you notice, the European model is not showing any hurricane in the Pacific. So right now you're having a discrepancy right there. You know, so something, that's why I said for 10, 12, 14 days out is you can't really trust the forecast. Now let's check the Canadian model. With the Canadian model, same thing. Just a little bit of rain heading towards Florida, but no hurricane formation in the Pacific neither. So that's why I'm saying we need to basically keep an eye for that. But just as just to stay aware, but don't trust it. I wanted to also talk about, let me see, some tips and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in the future as we get to as we get closer to the beginning of hurricane season. But right now, some of the tips that you want to start taking now, because this is a thing. We are already showing signs that we are going to have a strong hurricane season. We're less than a month away from the beginning of the season. So start preparing now. Start gathering your supplies. Start getting your weather radio, which I'm actually going to put some links on my description box. Check them out. If you purchase through the link, I mean, it will give me a little bit of a commission and help the channel grow. So it's an affiliate link with eBay and some of them with Amazon. But another thing is check out your plywood. If you're using plywood, make sure that it's not damaged. Make sure that it's in good shape. If it's not, I highly recommend it to start your preparations now. Don't wait until the last minute because you're not going to find much left. That happened to me actually with Hurricane Irma. Everybody, I mean, locally I couldn't find anywhere. I couldn't find any plywood anywhere. So I have to travel like 25, 30 minutes to a Home Depot to get some plywood. So start doing it now. People are not looking for these things now. So now's the opportunity to start. So I will definitely talk a little bit more about this, but check out weather.gov, and it has a lot of information how to strengthen your home, like covering your windows, trimming the trees, securing the doors, secure loose items out there. So if you have some stuff outside, you know there's a hurricane coming or a storm, you want to get those items locked up and inside of your house or in a shed or somewhere that they're not going to be flying around. And move your car to a safe location. Indoors will be good. If not, well, trying to find a safe spot in your home that is not going to get a tree on top of it or damage with wind or debris, flying debris. So like I said, I will as we get closer to the season, I will talk a little bit more about preparation. Another thing is the sea surface temperature chart. I made a video probably, I don't know if it was last week or a few days ago, talking about how this chart was updated. Personally, I'm not a fan of it. I don't like it, but you know, it shows some good information. Let's just put it that way. The cooling that I was telling you earlier, this is the updated chart as of May 6th, latest sea surface temperatures. As you can see, a little bit of cooling up here. A little bit on the main development region, but that's going to be temporary. I'm pretty sure within probably the next update is probably going to go away. A little bit on the Gulf. The main thing you guys want to pay attention here is you see how much more blue or below average temperature are popping up. If you look at some of my other videos where I did a comparison, you're going to see that there was barely any blue here. Now it's starting to show up, which this is a sign of La Nina. La Nina, if you guys remember, is some cooling of the Pacific and warming in the Atlantic. So in other words, it's worse for us, more hurricane development, less activity for the Pacific. And that's pretty much all I have for you guys right now. Wanted to cover a little bit of everything. I know it's a lot of information, but I want to keep you guys updated and give you as much positive information as I can. So please subscribe to my channel. Like my video, hit that bell, the notification bell, so you get my updates and everything. Every time I upload a video, you get that notification. Check the links, like I said, and start getting ready now. It's the time to do it.